let's go ahead and start. Probably what's going to be the biggest story is this one. Michael Vick is taking a job at Norfolk State. Now, this is an HBCU, and I got to say this. This is what I want to start off by saying. Here in recent years, HBCUs have really gotten aggressive in saying, okay, we want a coach who has a big time profile. So, what does Norfolk State do? They go get Michael Vick. This is just following the same model. I believe it's I think it's like Tennessee State or something like that, who has Eddie George. Dion went to Jackson State a few years ago. Those are some notable ones. So here's what I'm saying about this. You get Michael Vick. Yes, he doesn't really have a lot of experience as a head coach, but what this is telling me is that this it's telling me that they are going to go by this model of let's go get a guy who's got a big profile, who played in the NFL, and let's go recruit some guys to come play for him. I think this is a smart move if you're looking at Norfolk State and you got a guy. Like I said, we don't know how this is going to go because he's never coached college football. He's been ever since he retired from the NFL. He's been on Fox doing a pregame show for the NFL. So we don't know what his program is going to look like there at Norfolk State. But this does make it interesting because I think there's going to be a lot of people who, quite honestly, who may have never watched Norfolk State play a football game, who are going to be tuning in to watch them this coming football season. It means they will have a little bit more money coming in, which also in turn means that they could put more back into their football program to make it better. So, Michael Vick, I think this is an interesting hire. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to go. He could be the worst football coach in football, but we don't know how this is going to go. So, folks, this is interesting here. This is one to really keep your eye on throughout the remainder of the off as we near the end of bowl season and get to um the off season and just see how it goes. All right. Next big story. Dave Clawson is resigning from Wake Forest. Now, he is going to become an advisor at Wake Forest. What does this mean for Wake Forest? Well, first off, you got a guy who was your head coach for 11 years, and notably, the late 2010s into the early 2020s was the best time for Wake Forest. Of course, Sam Hartman was your quarterback, who, I mean, y'all went to the ACC championship game once. Wake Forest there for a little bit was really an interesting football team to watch for there for a few years. A lot of people would tune in to watch them, and they were an interesting football team. These past few years really haven't been that great. Um, so it's not as a shock that Wake Forest is going to get a new head coach. Um, him resigning though, he's 57 years old, and like I said, he's going to be an advisor. And I think this is something that I am not shocked is that a lot of guys who's been coaching football for a long time, if they don't like the way that college football is going, then I think I've said this before, but like they're going to start stepping away. Saban was like the biggest and most notable head coach to step away, citing the reasons of NIL and everything else that's changed in the past few years for college football. Now, I'm not completely sure if that's Dave Clawson's reasoning. That only time can tell about why he's resigning, but it is a very interesting thing to sit here and see that Dave Clawson, he has stepped away. So, definitely going to be interesting to see who Wake Forest goes and hires. From what I've seen, I believe Neil Brown is in the running. There's a couple other guys, but Bill Brown is the biggest name so far to be mentioned in the running for Wake Forest head coaching position. So we'll wait and see what happens with Wake Forest. Yeah, this is an interesting one. And Wake Forest, I think, would be an interesting football team to coach. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But Wake Forest now looking for a